Hi everyone. Today I'm going to cover this topic, ISO 45001-2018. I have recently attended a lead auditor course from British Standard Institutions, and after successfully completing that specific training session on lead auditor, I was able to make this presentation, and I have used ISO standard as a reference standard to make this slide deck. And this particular slide deck, it just carries the overview concept of this specific beautiful standard. So this standard talks about occupational health and safety management. If you have more questions, please do feel free to write to anwarrose16@gmail.com. If you like this video, please hit a like button that is just below the video, and do subscribe to my channel if you would like to watch such more videos on such topics. So let's get started. This is the overview of the standard. The ISO 45001-2018 standard, it covers 10 clauses, and it's quite similar to the quality management system standard. Now here in the overview, you can see OHSAS policy, which is as per clause number 5.2. It gives inputs in hazard identification and risk and opportunity identification in reference to clause 6.1.1, 6.1.2 and 6.1.3. And again, it also helps us in identification of the overall risk in an organization as per clause 6.1. All these inputs goes into the continual improvement, which is the clause number 10. The clause number 10 drives into objectives and targets as per clause 6.2 of the organization. And even the OHSAS policy, the hazard identification, the risk identification, all leads to formulation of objectives and targets in the organization. Apart from this, legal and other requirements as per clause 6.1.3 and evaluation of compliance, that's legal and other requirements where a legal department audit is done as per clause 9.1.2. All these two inputs also adds in formulation of objectives and targets. Now let's understand what are the inputs to continual improvement apart from policies, risk and hazard identification. So the first one is monitoring, measurement, analysis and performance evaluation as per clause 9 gives inputs for continual improvement. The operation itself gives inputs for continual improvement, which is 8.1, and the emergency response plan as per clause 8.2 also leads in risk identification and gives an input in formulation of objectives and targets. Now, the inputs in operations are procurement as per clause 8.1.4, and the procurement consists of two aspects, contractors and outsourcing. The internal audit as per clause 9.1 and management review as per 9.3 gives inputs to continual improvement. Leadership and worker participation as per clause 5, support as per clause 7 and documented information as per 7.5. These all are as important as scope, normative reference, terms and definition as per clause 1, 2 and 3. And this whole standard is embedded into clause 4, which is context of the organization. So if you can understand this diagram, you will understand the whole conceptual part of ISO 45001-2018 Occupational Health and Safety Standard. This diagram was prepared in consultation with my mentor for this specific standard, and I have designed it. Now, to summarize the whole standard, the new ISO 45001-2018 standard for occupational health and safety is now an ISO standard, unlike in a previous version called as OHSAS 18001 standard. Its core text remains similar to ISO 9001-2015 standard and other ISO standards, which also has 10 clauses, which I just explained. OHSAS standard focuses that leadership must involve workers for consultation and participation to build safety culture. This implies everyone in the organization is a worker and shall participate in promoting safety culture. Each and every worker shall be competent enough to identify hazards. Standard makes training element very robust for development of employees. Training must exhibit addition of skill for identification of hazard. It implies now organization must invest in employees, and online training programs are not sufficient as it has its own limits. Many debate that online trainings are sufficient. If that's the case, then our school university education system must also move to the online mechanism. But it has not, because there is a difference between skill enhancement and just making people aware about various systems. This standard beautifully focuses on the same. Like for example, this online module here, it's basically for your awareness. It will not do a skill enhancement. To do a skill enhancement, you have to attend a course from a specific body who is a course provider. Addition of evaluation of compliance clause indicates legal department audit is mandatory now. As per Companies Act and Factories Act in India, all legal compliances are mandatory. Legal department audit is a mandatory to exhibit transparency in implementation of laws in the organization. This is an additional clause apart from the legal and other requirement clauses. Last but not the least, the old world HERA is now HERA DC, which implies not only hierarchy of control but determination of control along with it is required. To implement safety, the first step is elimination, then substitution, followed by engineering control, which is training. And then comes the administrative control, which is like signages, maps, etc. And last but not the least is personal protective equipment, which we call it as PPE. So a worker wearing a safety helmet or jacket or shoes, it's the last step in hierarchy of control. This brings change in mindset of the auditors who are auditing the system against the standard that they checking only PPE are not just sufficient. Be safe. Safety means having a safe process in place. That was all from my side to cover this specific ISO 45001-2018 standard. I hope you liked it, and if you like this video, please hit a like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.